Edith, and I'm going to talk to you about the pregnancy and early childhood data set we have been working on. And of course, one of the first questions can be, why, if there are other studies mainly focused on children, we should use a household survey? And well, we think our data provides a valuable opportunity to conduct research on pregnancy and early childhood topics, as we have information before and after the child is born. And yes, I am talking about pregnancy, but also before that. We have information from the parents even before the child was conceived. And once the child is born, we have wide-ranging data on the whole family annually to provide social, economic, and family context on the child growing up. We collect data not only on one child that we would like to follow through time, but from all children in the household, as all of them are considered understanding society participants. So we have the same information on siblings, for example. In addition, once the child turns 10, more information is collected, and now it is collected directly from them, and we even collect more information when they are adults. Okay, so what type of information do we have about children? To mention some, we have data on child development, parenting style, childcare, pregnancy, baby behavior. For example, on child development, when the child is age 3, we ask if he or she uses the toilet to do number 2. Or in terms of parenting style, we ask parents how often do they praise their children when they are good. And in here, some other examples of the pregnancy and early childhood questions we collect. Now, why are we creating the pitch file? Well, first, we are seeking to improve users' access to key valuable information on pregnancy and early childhood, modifying the structure of the current files. Our aim is to boost opportunities for researchers interested in child development topics to easily engage with our data. We are proposing the release of a new file, the cross-wave child file, also known as the pitch dataset, where most of the relevant information is provided together in one place, strengthening its quality. As you can see here in our map, we show the current files where you can actually find information about children. For example, if I want to know the child's birth weight, or if the child has been breastfed, I need to go to the newborn file. But then, if I want to know if during the pregnancy the mother smoked or drank alcohol, I need to go to the in-breast file. So from here, we obtain a picture of the work it can take to get the different information available for a child. And there are additional challenges. For instance, in the newborn and not child files, the information is provided using the parents' PIDPs and not the children's PIDPs. So before matching the information in these two files with other files, you need to obtain the child's PIDP first from INDOL, for example. Also, data in these files, newborn and not child, is in long format. So we have 2 rows per child, the mother's responses and the father's responses. Now, let me tell you about the eligibility criteria. Who is in the pitch file? A total of 31,233 children have been reported in the child files from wave 1 to 10. And as part of Understanding Society, a full set of child development questions at ages 3, 5, and 8 started to be collected from wave 3 onwards. Having in mind that we want to stimulate research on child development and similar topics, to be eligible for the pitch dataset, children need to be potential respondents to at least one of the child development age group questions, 3, 5, or 8 years. So in total, considering waves 1 to 10, the cross-wave child file contains records of 18,118 children. In this flowchart, we can observe the process to obtain the pitch sample, starting with all the 31,233 children. We ask about the wave when the child was first enumerated. If it was in wave 1, then we ask if at that time the child was older than 6 years. If she or he was, then the record is excluded from the sample, because in wave 3, when the child development questions actually started to be collected as part of understanding society, these children were 9 years old, and no child development questions were asked to their parents at all in that wave or in any other further. Okay, and then we do a similar process if the children were enumerated in wave 2 or in waves 3 to 10. As a final step, we run some checks to verify there are no children with age inconsistencies. For example, we have identified children reporting 56 years old or 61 years old. So after verifying no information on child development has been collected for them, they have been removed from the pitch dataset, and after further checking, it will be amended in the main release files, of course. Therefore, the pitch dataset contains all the available information for this sample in different files: newborn, par style, indole, INRES, etc. Now, the information is provided at the child level using the child's identifier or PIDP to uniquely identify each row, and this new file structure allows data users to easily track a child's information. For example, if a child was born early or late, if she or he spoke in full sentences at age 3, and her or his health conditions at age 3, 5, and 8, amongst others. Okay, so what have we done? We have classified the available information into 7 categories: at age 3, 5, and 8, at age 3, at age 5 and 8, SEQ, parenting style, at birth or born, and pregnancy. And all the variables in each category are age-specific, not changing across waves or time. Childbirth, the amount of fussing or crying when newborn, or how often the parent reads to the child when they are 3, 5, or 8 years old, remains the same throughout waves. For example, data on childcare and child maintenance is not included in the pitch dataset, as the information related to childcare and child maintenance questions changes each time these modules are asked. In addition, the cross-wave identifier of the person who provided the information for the child and the wave when it was collected is also provided, making links to other family information easier. Now, let me tell you about this beta version we are releasing now. Of course, before the official cross-wave child file is released, it is fundamental for us getting feedback from the research community potentially using this information. So this beta file has this purpose in mind. And for example, comments about the structure we are currently following, if it is easy to understand and useful, will be valued. Feedback is also welcome, for instance, on the different values and labels we have assigned, indicating when information is not available, like are they clear, how many are convenient to keep as an ideal balance, and about other variables or information not included but that you might consider relevant to conduct child development research. Something important to know is that the current beta file only includes early childhood information. However, when we do the official release of the pitch file, it will also include the pregnancy data. One of the challenges we have been facing when creating this data set is that the availability of the information depends on when the child joined the study and if the child has reached the specific age when that information is collected. The reason why information is not available is identified by a specific value and label in the variable. For instance, when the data is not available because the child has not yet reached the age, an indicator label with this information is displayed. There are several different valid reasons we have identified as the sources of not available information. For example, join the study at older age refers to a child that was not in the study at the relevant age. For example, their family joined when they were 7. So all questions below 7, let's say at age 3 or at age 5, were never asked and will never be asked. Other possible source for information not available is HAG, and it means that the child's household responded household grid or household grid plus household questions only. So there were no individual interviews. And here we have some other sources identified for not available information, but the idea is that we want to let you know there are different reasons for this information not to be available, but we also want to keep a balance. Then feedback from your side on how many categories is an ideal balance will be essential at this point in time to improve the file. Now let's have a closer look on the structure of the pitch data file. And this is how it looks. For example, in row 1, now we know the PIDP of the child, then we know if it's a girl or a boy, and the year of birth. And we can see here in the 4th column, the variable wave underscore Q3, for example, indicating the wave when the age 3 questions have been collected. For this boy, all his age 3 questions were asked in wave 3. But in row 2, we see the age 3 questions were collected for this girl in wave 4. We also have the PIDP of the person who responded the age 3 questions in the variable PIDP underscore Q3 in the 5th column, and the child's health condition at age 3 next to it. In the next columns, we can observe this same information, but when the child was 5 years old and when he was also 8 years old. So from a quick look, we can notice that the health condition of this boy has been reported as very good when he was 3, excellent when he was 5, and excellent again when he was 8, which allows us to have an idea of his general health condition. In addition, we have other variables that are only collected when the child is age 3, data we don't collect later again, as this variable CD3PERA, if the child is usually happy and content. In here, the responsible adult agrees somewhat to this statement. Or the variable CD3PERB, if the child is easily irritated and cries frequently, and the parent responding that disagrees somewhat to this statement. So please go and have a look at the file and let us know what you think in terms of the possible research you can do with it, how we can improve the data file or the documentation with it, or what additional resources will be helpful for you. And finally, I just would like to mention about the next steps. Of course, the 16 additional pregnancy variables we have identified and that are not available in here in the beta file will be part of the pitch file. Also, we are developing advice to provide users of the cross-weight child file a helpful weighting scheme to implement and adjust according to their research needs. Additional syntax will be provided to link the children's records with their parents' information in the interest file or the family matrix, for example. And the official release of the PEACH dataset will be through the UK Data Archive in spring 2022. So your opinion is very important for us. If you are interested in getting access to the beta version or have any suggestions or comments, please contact us by email. This is my email, and I will be very happy to keep in touch with you. Thank you very much.